One is extra special because not only are they celebrating their 10th year anniversary, but they've managed to assemble many of the Olympic greats. In fact, the last time we had a competition of this caliber was last summer at the Barcelona Olympics. You know, this is truly a parade of champions, and for the gymnastics fan, it's such a wonderful treat.
The all-round competition took place earlier with a familiar name on top, Svetlana Bogunskaya, still tough to beat. Her Olympic teammate Tatiana Lysenko second, with Lavinia Milisovic of Romania third. Olympic superstar Vitaly Sherbo not resting on his Barcelona laurels. Grigori Masutin second. Germany's Andreas Becker took the bronze. Li Li of China was fourth in the all-round at the DTB Cup, and she begins our event's final competition on the uneven bars. Elfie, she was eighth in Barcelona, not to be confused with Lu Li, who was an Olympic gold and silver medalist.
I often thought, Chris, that the only way to make this Chinese national team is you had to have the name Li, but they truly are great athletes. This young gymnast is quite an innovator on this event, and you'll see what I mean right here. Difficulty plus some extra special skills, and she really will leave her name behind in gymnastics. You can take a look at just how wide the bars are these days in women's gymnastics. And this is that awesome, very, very difficult skill that she invented. Very few athletes in the world can perform this skill.
And a 9.7 for Li Li. Lavinia Milisovic coming off a terrific Barcelona Games, 2 gold medals, a silver and a bronze. She was fourth in the uneven bars at the Olympics.
And Chris, Lavinia was one of 2 athletes that qualified to every event final at the Olympic Games. The other athlete, of course, being Shannon Miller. What Lavinia does in this bar routine is just incredible. She has 3 release moves. You know, she hasn't lost any of her form since Barcelona, still the top Romanian gymnast.
Bronze medalist in the all-round, and happy with that routine.
And here's an example of one of the big tricks the women are performing on the uneven bars. That's the second release move that she has of 3 in this routine. And at this level of competition, you can expect difficulties such as what Lavinia had in this routine.
And she has the lead with a 9.9. Well, here she is, Svetlana Bogunskaya, who led her team to victory in Barcelona. There's been speculation about her imminent retirement, and we put imminent in quotations because they've been speculating for a couple of years now. And the public address announcer taking quite some time to introduce her with all of her great achievements.
Chris, I remember last year at an international competition, we thought she might not even qualify for the Russian team in Barcelona, but here she is. She's the top athlete in Belarusia right at this point, and really nobody to challenge her. One thing you will notice from Svetlana, her routine is quite simple at this point, but she is so graceful, and that is one thing you cannot take away from her in this routine. She really has beautiful lines. She does a full twist on top of the bar. Here's her one and only release skill. Of course, the women today are doing at least 3, but as I said, beauty counts for a whole lot on this apparatus.
From Minsk, and now competing for Belarus, a 9.9, and yet another gold medal for Bogunskaya's trophy case she shares with Milisovic. Annette Potempa of Germany wins the bronze. Let's move to the rings. In Barcelona, we saw Valerie Bolenki help with the team gold for the CIS, but here he is representing Azerbaijan.
Chris, he was also the bronze medalist at the Olympic Games, thought he might be able to challenge Vitaly Sherbo. What's exciting to see is that these athletes will be hanging on a little bit longer with the dismantling of the Soviet team. He will be the top in his country, so I think we'll be seeing him in future events. And what he does so well on this apparatus is shows an incredible display of strength skills. No question, Belenki is one of the premier ring workers in the world.
Fifth in the rings final at Barcelona.
This is one of the interesting innovations the men have been doing for the past couple of years, a double front dummy between the rings and moving right back up to a handstand.
9.8 for Belenki. Here's the veteran leader of the German team. Silver medals at 2 world championships in rings. He was the bronze medalist in Barcelona, but helping many feel he's the best on the rings in the world.
I think that is absolutely true. He has been robbed of the gold medal in recent world championships, and you'll see what I mean in a couple of seconds. He is just incredible on this apparatus. He throws more difficulty than any other athlete I've seen. The key, of course, is keeping the rings absolutely still. Look at that inverted cross. Another strength move, and then watch this. He moves down into the famous iron cross. Beautifully done. Getting set for his dismount. 2 twists, 2 saltos. I would say he is the strength king.
And obviously a crowd favorite here.
Chris, his execution was superb, not to mention the difficulty, double twisting, double dismount. This is really rings at its very best.
He was also third in the all-round, and a 9.9 means Andreas Becker is the winner of the DTB rings competition ahead of Belenki, with the bronze medal going to Vitaly Sherbo. Now let's move to the vault, and here is Igor Korbchinsky of Ukraine, the 89 world champion, the youngest ever at the age of 20.
What you're about to see is the most difficult vault that the men are performing in world competition today, and Igor Korbchinsky performed this at the Olympic Games in Barcelona. That is awesome. A double front dummy. Just incredible. He doesn't have a whole lot of time before he gets to the ground. You can see here 2 rotations. Look at the height in the air. But what's so difficult is he's absolutely blind. He has to rely on the feeling of the move itself, and he opens up, and not a bad landing for such a difficult vault.
Now the men will vault twice. We haven't been given the score of the first vault. They'll take an average of the 2 vaults.
Again, not as difficult as his opening vault. Kazumatsu with a full twist, but nevertheless, 2 very strong vaults for Korbchinsky.
There's the average, 9.787. Here's the superstar of Barcelona, 20-year-old Vitaly Sherbo from Minsk, the same hometown as Svetlana Bogunskaya. 6 gold medals at the Olympics, the team, the all-round, and 4 event finals, including the vault.
Chris, he's such a cool and very relaxed competitor, and Vitaly's been extremely busy traveling in the United States on a 25-city tour. He's injured his knee, but obviously it hasn't affected him in today's competition. That was an incredible double twisting Yurchenko vault. So women started this trend of vaulting. There's the round-off onto the horse. He does a double twist in the air, very clean, not to mention very difficult. A little bit of a problem on his landing. What's incredible about this vault is he gets so much height. Look at the clean lines in the air. Perfectly executed. The only problem, as I said, was just on the landing.
Again, 2 vaults, and the scores will be averaged. You were telling me not quite the homecoming you would have anticipated for Sherbo, with his apartment broken into, and they took everything except the 6 gold medals.
Now that's the vault he unveiled at the European Championship. Very innovative. The same type of vault as his first one, only adds a full twist before the horse.
There's the average, and it's a winning one, 9.850. Korobczynski takes the silver. Supala of Hungary is the bronze medalist. And when Sports Weekend returns, the women will be on the beam at the DTB Cup. Cup in Stuttgart as Svetlana Bogunskaya prepares for her favorite apparatus, the beam, the 88 Olympic champion, 5th in Barcelona.
One thing about the style of Svetlana Bogunskaya, she is truly a master of this event, but if you watch her moves, the transitional moves, the difficult tricks, she's so fluid and always so confident. For the young gymnasts out there, this is where they can truly learn the specialty of Svetlana Bogunskaya and the choreography, paying attention to detail. Again, tricks are important, but the choreography, the dance elements, those are as important. Chris, I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot more from Svetlana. There is rumor that she's planning to attend the World Championships coming up in Birmingham, England.
Well, no question, she'll be the anchor now of the Belarusian team. You mentioned youngsters watching her. I wonder if Stella Ume is watching to pick up any more nuances for Stella's playful impersonation of Svetlana.
A complete package. It was executed superbly. This was one of the highlights of her routine, I must say. Her mount is a blind move, very well done, and she's right on the beam.
9.9 for Svetlana Bogunskaya. And here's the 92 Olympic beam champion, Tatiana Lysenko of Ukraine. Second to Svetlana in the all-round here. And that beam gold medal must have been special for Lysenko after having a disaster on the beam at the 91 World Championships in Indianapolis.
Chris, she's always been a beam specialist, and you'll see why in a minute, but she's had problems putting it all together at some of the major international competitions. Again, the Olympic gold was a real highlight for Tatiana. In comparing beam routines, we just saw Svetlana Bogunskaya. You'll see why some of the younger gymnasts and some of the more difficult skills that they're performing, and this is her first series. 3 layouts in a row. That's tough to do. The balance beam, again, only 4 inches wide. The trend for gymnastics, and certainly what the judges will be doing in the future, is trying to recognize and reward some of these athletes for doing combination skills, such as what we just saw from Tatiana. And along with the big skills, there's innovation, a very big part of the sport. No problems for the Olympic champion putting it all together in today's competition, Chris. This was certainly one of the big highlights of her beam routine. Got 4 skills in a row, but 3 aerial movements, and she was dead on.
A winner of 2 Olympic golds and a bronze, and a 9.925 here for the lead. Li from Beijing, a member of the Chinese team that finished 4th overall. I mentioned Lu Li a little earlier. She was the silver medalist to Lysenko in Spain on the beam.
If you thought her bar routine was creative, check out that skill. I wouldn't recommend that for too many people, especially you, Chris.
Ouch.
Now, Li comes from a very long line of Chinese greats on the balance beam. In particular, the big name a couple of years ago was Yang Bo, and she's certainly carrying on with this tradition. The Chinese gymnasts have a very different style. They're very exact in their movements, almost a Perky-like style. This is what she's known for as well, back spin, and her incredible flexibility. And a very exciting gymnast to watch. I enjoyed her performance, especially this move here. That's a 1 1/4 spin to a backdrop. And of course, she shows off just a little bit of flexibility.
Wow. 9.9 for Lee. So she ties one of her idols, Svetlana Bogunskaya, for the silver. Tatiana Lysenko, the Olympic gold medalist, wins gold again. And we move to the men's parallel bars. Vitaly Sherbo has the score to beat at 9.775. Here's Valerie Belenki, the bronze medalist on this event at the World Event Finals Championship in Paris last spring.
And that was the very first of its kind in Paris, an event World Championships where we had specialists coming from all the various countries. It really was exciting and something we'll be seeing a lot more of in the future. Of course, Valerie Belenki is incredible on this apparatus. The men are doing some different skills. A lot of swinging action. They're not allowed to stop more than 3 times, but he's just bulldozing through this routine. And I never expect anything less from these athletes. Superb lines, excellent routine.
And a 9.8 for Valerie Belenki to take the lead. Here's the 23-year-old veteran of 2 Olympics for Germany, Andreas Becker. Interesting to note, Elfie, that the German team finished 4th, and all men were former competitors for East Germany.
And Andreas Becker was the leading athlete on the German team. He has a few years to go, I would say, in this sport. I can see him actually competing right up until 1996. I questioned that a few years ago when he hit an all-time slump, but I think that was the case at that point when the German team was going through all their reunification problems. But again, he's risen right to the top, and he is looking better than ever. And I mentioned before, the gymnasts on this apparatus are using the event in ways that we haven't seen before. Andreas just doing a move off to the side. An impressive showing for Andreas in front of his hometown crowd.
And a 9.85 means another golden performance. We saw him on the rings win gold, also the pommel horse. Now the bars. Belenki the silver, Sherbo and Korobczynski share the bronze. Coming up next, the beauty, the grace, and the power of the women's floor exercise. When sports DTB Cup, and we go to the women's floor exercise. The story of this event in Barcelona, of course, Lavinia Milisovic, who scored a perfect 10.
style may be gone, but she's still on Olympic form, Chris. She's just entertained us with a new routine for the season.
9.925 for Milosevic of Romania. Here's Tatiana Gutsu, the Olympic all-round champion.
In Barcelona, she was never supposed to reach the all-around competition. But what the Russians do so often is replace their athletes. They went with Tatiana Gutsu, and obviously it paid off. She won them the gold. Relaxed at the DTB Cup. Not quite the same difficulty as Barcelona, but nevertheless, she was still a treat to watch.
Olympic bronze medalist in Spain, 9.9. So Milosevic still the leader. Here's Tatiana Lysenko of Ukraine, who has already won the beam competition here.
Tatiana's always been in the shadows of people like Gutsu and Bogunskaya, but she certainly has what it takes in this exercise to take the gold medal. I love the dramatic style, and there's no question she had the most difficulty of anyone here.
And the judges agree at 9.95 for Tatiana Lysenko, who wins her second gold along with a silver medal. Milosevic is silver to go with 2 golds, while Gutsu takes the bronze. Coming up next, the men will be flying high at the DTB Cup in Stuttgart. Back in Stuttgart, Vitaly Sherbo has already won 1 gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze as he prepares for his high bar. Elfie, I guess the big question for gymnastics fans, can he sustain this level of success through Atlanta in '96?
Well, no question, Chris, that maintaining this level of competition is very difficult to do. We don't see that from too many athletes. Svetlana Bogunskaya comes to mind. She is one of few that was both an '88 Olympian and a '92 Olympian. But the other question is motivation. Does he want to? He won 6 gold medals in Barcelona, and where do you go from there? Now he didn't have the best competition here at the DTB Cup, but I assure you we will see Vitaly Sherbo in Birmingham at the World Championships.
9.775 for Sherbo. Here's Zoltan Shupola of Hungary. We saw him with a bronze medal in the vault here, a 22-year-old. 12th in the all-round in Barcelona.
Traditionally, the Hungarians are very strong on events like the pommel horse. So for Zoltan being here in that event final on the high bar, that's quite a change, but he is fantastic on this event. High bar by far is one of the most exciting apparatus here in the event finals. Everybody loves to see skills such as these. 3 release skills already, and I'm going to set you up for his dismount. This has almost become a compulsory move in the world of gymnastics. Everybody seems to be doing it, but not quite that well.
Perfect.
Here's one of his release skills, and he's doing it from a one-armed giant swing. Look at the height on that skill. No problems regrafting the bar.
Shupola also fits in the parallel bars, and a 9.825 puts him in the lead. Here is Grigory Masutin, silver in the all-round in Barcelona. He won the high bar at the 92 individual event finals. And he had 3 silver medals at the Olympic Games, including second place in this event.
What I've noticed about Masutin is he's a very serious athlete. He takes his gymnastics quite seriously, never smiles in competition, unlike Vitaly Sherbo. Big skill off the top of the routine, just a little bit of a struggle. That is one of the most difficult release skills you'll see on the high bar. Oh, he almost lost his grip there. You can see he's having some problems getting back to the handstand. Continues on nevertheless, still swinging. It's been a bit of a letdown since the Olympic Games. Some of these athletes are not on Olympic form, but as I said, they're getting set and prepared for the World Championships coming up this year.
Well, Masutin hung in there, although he flirted with disaster.
Well, gripping was part of his problem. However, it wasn't a problem on this release skill. Very blind, very exciting, and extremely difficult.
And the score for Masutin, a 9.8, so he's second. Shupola still with the lead. And here is Ralph Buchner of Germany, the 25-year-old from Hanover, the 91 World High Bar champion.
Chris, it seems fitting that the German athlete will go last on this event. He could win the overall title. Very exciting routine and 2 of the most difficult release moves you'll ever see on this event. He just performed one, and here's the second one. Incredible. Doesn't matter how many times I watch men's high bar, I can never seem to sit still. I think he wrapped this one up.
The crowd sure thinks so. Boy, a hard luck story, Elf. He had injuries before the 87 and 89 Worlds, but right on the mark here.
2 very exciting release skills. There's the first one. It's called the Kovac. A 1.5 back summy over the high bar, and again, he went on to throw that very exciting 1.5 twist release skill.
There's the winning score. Ralph Buchner of Germany, obviously the center of attention here. The home fans celebrate a gold medal performance. Shupola the silver. Grigory Masutin takes the bronze medal. And so a glittering showcase of the world's best comes to a close in Stuttgart with Svetlana Bogunskaya and Vitaly Sherbo still the sport's brightest stars. For LP Schlegel, Chris Cuthbert saying...